Cool, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today, a little different again, we're continuing our FlyUK tour from Quito, where we landed a few weeks back, down to Lima, about 2 hours flight time. I'm just sorting out a few other issues and I'm putting the routes into the live chat for you guys. And a slight change of departure as well today, because winds currently on the MET are 180 degrees, so we'll be going at runway 18, which requires a Quito transition basically, so we're taking off and then turning back over the airport almost, or at least to head over the Quito VOR. Very warm welcome to all of you guys tuning in. Let's just catch up there. Jay, hope you're well as well, hello to you. And Peter, Quito Airport ID SEQM, and Lima SPJC, although you'll note it would be a little different on the overlay. On the overlay it shows SPIM, that's the old airport code for Lima, so little odd. It doesn't recognise the new one, but it means the same thing. Ralph, hello to you, and John, welcome. Where are we going? Just need to set up a few things. I had a few issues just before I started the stream today with textures on the A32NX with the test file that I'm using. Afternoon Paul, William, hello to you, Jeff, good afternoon as well, and Philip, good evening. So, all a bit busy. Let's have a little look what else. I need to start Skytrack. And close down some unnecessary things as well. We've generated a route using SimBrief as well, and today we're taking a look at the top of descent calculator that is going into the EFB. So zoom in here, and we're going to have a little look at this a little later on. So really easy way for people to be able to configure their altitude, target altitude, etc. You can click sync here actually, and it will keep that up to date. And it's going to also keep our speed up to date as well. So that's going to help us when we come to descent, and we'll make good use of that. I've just been putting in the Quito VOR, and William, nice. If you've got time, then throw yourself straight into this next one. So we're going on runway 18. You can see there winds 180 at 5 knots, a few clouds at 300, broken at 8,000, QNH 1027. But the altimeter 3035 doesn't match the QNH of 1027, but oh well. And you can see there straight out departure, and we could either then loop back round to Quito, which is what we're supposed to do, or because of our route heading down to Quito, we could just head straight out. But it all depends on terrain, I guess. Runway 18, head south. Yeah, it could probably work. Marius, good afternoon. John, hello to you. Peter, good afternoon. Just before I started the stream, all of this was completely blank white. All the textures are broken and all sorts, so bear with me, I'm a little behind. Am I even on Unicom? 122.8, yes. That's looking good. Just sorting out a takeoff performance calculation. Particularly important here, I guess. Quito, very high up. Good grief, really behind. Runway 18, full length. 6.5. Good. what else? 0.3 down, and flaps 1. And we need a flex 68. Down 0.3. That's done. Cycle the V speeds. V1 at 132, V2 137. So that's done. Init A, init B, departure, Quito VOR if we need it. What else was there? The QSV VOR 1168. That's what we're actually going to track on departure. Turn some lights up as well. So what this is part of a... we have to be above 18,000 there, wow. This is a FlyUK tour, so Virtual Airlines, FlyUK, very good. Free to be a part of course. They've got tons of routes around the UK, but in addition to all of those, they also have routes across the world. So there's Atlantic crossings in multiple different aircraft, and it's quite good to get stuck into. I think we are ready to go. Let's just get my ground charts out. I will catch up on the live chat shortly. Do bear with me. Runway 18 is going to be via Charlie Juliet Alpha. And it's going to be hold at Alpha by the looks of it. Yes, and we're at gate 9. Got quite a few people here today. Voita, hello, welcome. Oh, William, big mistake there, forgetting to use that. That's a shame. Okay, I think we're good. I need Pushback Express though, actually.
Skyway 2320, radio check.
You're at readability 5, are we? Hanu, hello.
Readability 5.
Quito traffic, Skyways 4944. Gate 9, pusher start facing north.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine
Beacons
start.
on, seatbelt signs are
Release
on.
the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Let's go.
Pushing back.
Block the old flight deck door. And what we'll do is turn engine 2 on. Hopefully all these guys are ready as well. Quite a few people flying with us today, I think. And yeah, Ian, hello. Yeah, as Ian's just mentioned in there as well. Tomorrow we're going to head to the new Sobo Liverpool Airport. Handmade, new in the World Update 3, of course.
Quito traffic, Skyway 2320, pushing.
And we're then going to be heading to Zakynthos.
You are cleared behind E. Start your engines at your discretion.
Love the new sounds. Infinite Flight, hello. I don't dislike Infinite Flight, I just find it very expensive for what it actually is. And they rip me off a little bit, so I don't particularly like it. Simone, hello. We're using FS2 Cruise Pushback Express.
Juliet X-ray, stand 56, pushing back, facing south.
Engine 1. I feel like this isn't going to turn me quick enough. No, probably not. Oh well. There's a great free mod called Pushback Helper on flightsim.to that people can download as well. That's really good, worth looking into.
Quito traffic, Lane Peru 2943, pushing back, stand 14, facing
Pushback
south.
complete. Set parking brakes, please.
Parking brake set.
Roger. Okay, the tow bar is disconnected and the equipment is clear. We will see you on the left side with the pin.
Thanks, and you can disconnect and go to hand signals.
Thanks. Have a good flight. See you later.
Cool. Full and free. Ignition modes norm. AP bleed off. Wing lights, taxi lights. That's all good. We can put them on off so they pop out the belly. Might as well put the turn lights on as well.
Quito traffic, Skyways 3843 at parking 65, start up and
Someone
leading
coming in?
straight to runway 18.
He's going to be like, what on earth, whoever this is. Right, so this is a test branch of the A32NX with a load of stuff in relation to the EFB being updated. So there's a couple of like takeoff performance calculators and things there. Oh, you've made a smart move. Oh wow. So we're going to have a little look at the EFB functions, of course. I'm tempted to use reverse thrust and move back a little bit. Let's have a little look at these taxi lines. Yeah, taxi lane C is this area here, so it's just one predefined taxiway by the looks of it. So taxiway Charlie onto Juliet and then Alpha. While we're waiting for these guys, I'll show you Navigraph. So departing on runway 18, so we're going to be heading south down to the SUR QSV VOR. As part of this departure, we should then turn right back towards the Quito VOR, Contra Costa, before continuing on our way. But potentially we'll just go straight out. We can add that in there, and you'll see that's kind of what's expected for the departure today. And I think that's more due to terrain. Down to Quito, and then heading pretty much due south most of the way into Peru, and then down into Jorge Chavez International at Lima. As we get a bit closer, we'll look at the weather and things like that, so we can prepare for the arrival, depending on the winds and things. Let's close Pushback Express. Eagle 1, hello.
Quito traffic, Honey River 9 Juliet X-ray, taxiing to Hollington Alpha, Royal 18, Charlie, Juliet and Alpha.
Quito traffic, Skyways 4944, following the company traffic on taxiway Charlie to hold point 18. Pilot Stud, hello. You just need to press the little arrow on the very top. Have they got rid of the... Okay, no, we are moving. World updates caused all the aircraft to feel a lot heavier. Sim Scott, thank you. Yeah, it's very handy, isn't it? He's rolling. We're rolling. We're following him. We could do takeoff perf as well because, well, the config test. Predictive wind shear is off, thank you. Thought I'd turn that on.
Skyways 2320.
Water brake max.
Taxi Bravo, Juliet Alpha, runway 18.
And I should really have had the chrono on, main chrono. Hehe. Shame we've got a Sobo blob in today. Haven't seen one of these for a little while on the model matching. It's been so busy I've not even had a chance to share the link beyond my own Discord server and the Microsoft Flight Simulator one. So feel free to let people know we're live. Look at those rudder pedals ghosting away. Might try and use the rudders a bit more today actually.
Quito traffic, land Peru 2943, taxiing Charlie Juliet Alpha, hold it short, runway 18.
Quito traffic.
I know, awesome.
560, stand 12, pushing back.
Yeah, it's one of those, once you start using it, you don't really want to surrender
Quito
Navigraph
traffic, Skyway
because it is very
3843.
good.
Taxiing to runway 18, hold point, Alpha, Juliet Alpha.
Leonardo, good question. Sadly, I don't think it does. A lot of the charts, when they're specific to the stands, don't show up for Navigraph with the moving map. So you then have to try and remember where your stand is and then go to your main airport chart page. Don't want to make it too easy, do they? Voigt's got Navigraph as well, nice. And getting better with VATSIM at every flight. That's great to hear. Hopefully the tutorials have come in handy. And you're more than welcome as always. Once you feel confident enough, you're always welcome to join us on a stream and fly with us. Digital Giraffe would be lost without Navigraph as well, yep. Same here. It's, I resisted it for quite a while actually, as some of you will remember. Favouring ChartFox because it was free. And I've actually, obviously some of you guys will know as well, I've created a little freeware denim aerodrome. And I've been squashing some bugs with 30 minutes prior to today's stream. And we'll take a look at this when we get a bit closer. And plan our top of descent using the EFB. You can see it's reading speed, but it's also going to read at altitude as well. Ian, if you can, it's much cheaper to get it annually. Hanu, nice. Still haven't got my rudder pedals set up quite nicely. So in regards to denim aerodrome, I've managed to get rid of the strange textures that appeared on the runway by themselves. I found what was causing that, and Gridman found a weird bug as well with the world map displaying one of the runways as 24,800 and something. So I've managed to get rid of that as well. I've managed to fix those.
Honeycomb 9 Juliet X-ray is running up runway 18 on Quito 2 Alpha departure. Correction 3 Alpha departure.
Taxiway Tango for stacking. Lazarus, awesome. Wow. 3, 4 flying, 5 flying with me today, that's awesome. I'll have to give the guys a couple of minutes to catch up. I'm looking forward to giving this a go. Seems to be working quite well at the moment. I've not tested for a few days and some bits have been going wrong, so. Moro in Tampa. Good morning, and hopefully you're still really happy about winning the Super Bowl if you're a Bucks fan. We've done cabin secure, I think. Let's just put the lights on. Ecam ammo no blue. We're going to set at or above 18, so let's just go to 24. And we want to track VORs as well, so let's flick those on. Quito traffic, Skyways 4944, lining up via Alpha, runway 19, correction 18. Had to use quite a bit of thrust just to get moving. Hehe. Inadvertent FlyUK group flight. Love it. I think everybody's catching up now by the looks of it. Similar routing. Let's start the chrono for him because he's airborne now. Will be airborne in a second. He's still going. There he goes.
Queensland traffic, Honey Dripper 9 Juliet X-ray is airborne.
So it's going to be straight out for about 10 miles, climbing as we go, and then turning back on ourselves to the QSV VOR. And once we get to a minute, we'll depart. There we go. Quito traffic, Skyways 4944, departing at runway 18 on a Quito 3 Alpha departure. Chrono. Nose down. Let's just line up. This is 52% N1. Hey, barely moving. Let's go. Flex. SRS. God, it feels very heavy today.
Quito traffic, Skyways 2320 lining up runway 18 to Quito.
80 knots. Oh, come on, girl. Sticks neutral. Come on. God, you can tell altitude's really a factor. Still going. V1, rotate. V2. Positive rate, go up. Skyways 4944 is airborne. Great views. Autopilot on.
Quito traffic, Skyways 3843, lining up runway 18, holding point Alpha.
Flight level 105. Climb. Terrain. So I think this is why we go back on QSV, we turn back on ourselves, so he's departed straight out. We sort of have to turn back on ourselves, and it kind of leads us through here really more than anything else.
Traffic, Skyways 2320 is taking off.
And the autopilot's not working. Come on, climb. There we go. Okay, now it's going direct Quito. So you can see what it's doing is pretty much flying us straight towards this terrain. So let me take over.
Quito traffic, Land Peru 2943 is lining up runway 18.
Just going to go straight to that bit of terrain there. There's some of the guys going off that way. So even the aircraft didn't want to make that turn because of how tight it was. To be honest, I was pretty certain it was going to fly us into the terrain at one point. The aircraft thinks it's landing at the moment. It's going to fly straight into that hill. Let's go back to manage heading mode, and then what it's doing, what I'm hoping it's going to do, is pretty much take us up this green channel back to our planned route, and by that point we should be fairly high. The whole reason is the aircraft should have really gone back on itself. If I go to nav display, it pretty much would take us through this black channel here of clear terrain, up to the green, 18,000 foot, and then back on track, and we'd be clear of any hazardous terrain at that point. Whereas it's not doing that today. Let's get rid of that. This is where terrain map comes in handy. You can see we're getting close to that bit there as well. So if I might go into this channel.
Land Peru 2943.
Flight rail. That's not good.
Runway 18, Quito 3 Alpha departure.
Let's keep this steep climb, shall we? 2,600 foot per minute. Let's go left. It's auto calculating our ground speed for us at 343. You can see there ground speed's 343 there as well. That's good. I'm just going to take a screenshot for the fly-by-wire guys. And into the weather. That terrain warning is gone now as well, so let's go back into manage mode. There we go. I'll turn the landing lights and things off shortly. Flight right, are you using the very latest update for the dev version? 16 knots, gusting 26 for La Coruna, nice. Making it a bit of a challenge. I don't like this as well, this is crops in from the last update. Look at this weird halo outline around the airframe. That is a horrible thing Asobo has done. Don't understand it. But it's really blatant.
Traffic, Skyway 220.
Oh, brilliant, nice. Of course. Should probably put the icing on then. Oops, let's leave the seatbelt signs on, shall we? We can turn those lights off. Engine mode, select the ignition. That's cool. Severe ice detected. So it's telling us there we need to change the engine selection onto ignition start instead of mode norm. It's quite interesting. Let's go to the weather radar again, shall we? And then go on to arc mode again. So have a little catch up on the live chat. Still got that severe icing warning, that's quite good. We could probably clear the VOR tracking as well. Jacob's in a ACJ, okay, fair enough, yeah. I haven't put that in the script actually, so that's probably why. Good to know, maybe I should add that in. FlyUK, quite a few people have been getting some strange issues. The weirdest thing, it's a shame they haven't got rid of that, that's so far-fetched. One of the things is that like a strange halo outline around the airframe, which is really visible as we could see a short while ago. Kenway, hello, Infinite Flight. If you mean aviator, Dan, then no. Oops. Let's continue our climb. Clouds look amazing now, though. I think it was 37,000 feet. Bit of red there. Are we going to miss that? Oh, that's a weather cell. Not good of terrain, though. John, yeah. Bit of dynamic navigation from us there to avoid the terrain. Yeah, cruise flight level 370. They've definitely fixed the clouds, or at least for me, because that looks pretty good. Infinite Flight, we're doing Quito to Lima, part of the FlyUK World Tours. The annoying thing is now we're going to have icing for a long time now. Let's go ignition mode norm again. Keith, yeah, you would think, wouldn't you? Let's get rid of the chrono. Yeah, it did climb very slow, didn't it? I mean, at the moment, it's keeping me level because it's trying to get back to 290 knots for the remainder of the climb up to 37,000 feet. Yeah, the flap bug is particularly disappointing from Asobo. I think they've said that they're not even going to fix it, have they? I think they've just said it's down to mods like fly-by-wire to fix it off, which is a little frustrating. But to be fair, they'll probably do a better job of it. The only thing is, next time we get an update from Asobo, they'll have probably reverted the changes and it will go back to where it was before, so the mods will have to be retweaked. Pupino, hello. Macro Simulations, good afternoon. Congratulations on reaching version 1.0 for Manchester. That's quite an achievement, well done. El Pupino's asking about other liveries on VATSIM or IVAO. All the time you only see default liveries. It depends on what liveries you've got installed, really. They have definitely improved the clouds, look at that. So the flap issue has already been fixed by the fly-by-wire mod. So the dev team have already gone and tackled that and fixed that. But it's not in the stable, it's only in the development version. I think soon in the experimental version as well. Clouds are great. Just leaving that in managed climb to see what it does. It's doing 900 foot per minute, which is kind of quite nice actually, holding 80% M1, which is a lot better than 90%, so I'm hoping it will stay there. let's get the seatbelt signs off. An MTL file. So it depends if you've got the VATSIM client installed and you've got the CSL files with that, then the models from there can be used with a VMR file that will link it to be used on VATSIM as well. So that's one method, but pretty much everything you've seen today has come from my own model matching script, which links to your own community folder. Let's have a little look at this. 480 knots. Still climbing up. This is great. 419, 420. Perfect. And then this is all linked in as well with our weather. Weirdly though, this says 240 at 3 knots for Quito, so that's obviously changed again. That's just updated as well, that's good to see. And there's Lima. I don't know if you guys can see on your screens, but pretty much where the index finger on the cursor is, that's Lima there. There's a PR in progress as well at the moment where it'll allow us to scroll through the load sheet within the EFB, so our sim brief import on the load sheet will be able to work nicely with that as well, which is great. Matthew Bamber, yes, there is a fantastic EGCC mod. It's payware, but it's only $9.99 and exceptionally good value for what you get. It's just hit version 1 as well actually, so I'll give you the link, have a little look and make your own decision, I guess. But I think most people here it's in the live chat now, that link, Matthew. Most people here in the live chat I think have got Macro Simulations Manchester and Birmingham, and they're really, really good, so highly recommend that. If you click that link in the live chat, it'll take you direct to the site and you can have a little look. And feel free to look around on my channel as well, there's quite a few videos where I've covered Manchester. God, she's climbing slowly. 600 foot per minute now. How heavy are we? 64,500. Not madly so. 400. Some weird bumpiness. There's top of climb marker there in 35 miles or so, so that's the blue marker actually, that's probably looking more accurate. 80 miles. You shouldn't take 80 miles though to get to top of climb. Up it goes again. I guess it's trying to hold 80% N1 as a maximum limit, which you can see there. Whereas before the update, you guys will remember it was going up to like 94% N1, which is just, you're maxing out the engines really. So that definitely looks a lot more reasonable. But it's given us chaotic V speeds. Mats, hello, welcome. Barely climbing, it's bizarre. I mean, it's expecting us to go 10,000 foot and it's going to take almost 100 nautical miles to reach it. Abapino, yeah, nice. So Manchester now has reached version 1.0, which is really good. Keith, yeah, new cockpit textures do look fantastic. They've changed the way that the CellCal code gets imported, so I'm playing around at the moment with the file. I've pretty much run out of time before the stream though. I ended up breaking the cockpit. So over the next few days I'll be looking at working out how this now works, and I'll be updating my CellCal code video as well. so you guys will be able to do it yourselves. Asobo really need to get rid of the icing. Archros, that's a good question actually. Except for the price, what's the difference between ChartFox and Navigraph? So Navigraph is pretty much updated all of the time, every month, in line with the AirAx, which is really handy. But in addition to that, whenever Navigraph is updated, it allows us to update our SimBrief accounts as well. So the AirAx inside SimBrief, where we plan our routes, naturally need to be accurate for things like VATSIM, and Navigraph helps with that as well, as ChartFox doesn't have that ability. And some of the maps and charts on ChartFox are a little out of date as well. It could be a couple of years old, whereas Navigraph is updated all of the time. So if an airport changes and a chart gets updated on Navigraph, about a month or so later it will be updated as well. So quite a difference really. You can have Navigraph FMS data as well, but it's not strictly needed in the sim at the moment, because Microsoft and Asobo update our AirAx in the sim for us, so it makes the Navigraph bolt-on nav data a little pointless. But also with the Navigraph charts you get a moving map, so I can show you here actually, and overlays and things too. So we can turn the moving maps on and off by pressing the arrow at the top, and we can put it onto night mode as well, which is quite cool. But it's also really handy for planning approaches, so we could look at different approaches here and go, okay, right, these are all of the arrivals for runway 33, runway 15. We can overlay the charts directly onto the moving map as well, so we can use them to our advantage and directly have a little look where we're flying too. And we've got different approaches and things there as well. I'm going to have a little look at the approach plates for Lima, because I've not even looked at them yet. $30,000 feet. Just he struggles to climb so badly. I'm not sure why. What I should have done actually is timed how long it took for us to get up. We're at 300 foot per minute at the moment. Let's go on to the flybywire QA Discord bit. There we go. Put that on the QA chat for them to have a little look. Russ, apparently they've taken the slider down now, although I've not really looked. I've been particularly busy today. Sam, hello, welcome. So Jacob, I'm on a test branch today, specifically looking out for this. That's bizarre though, that dropped off at sync. Not quite sure how. 446. Ground speed's keeping up. Dan, hopefully not. Reese, hello, welcome to you. So, not sure if anyone else can hear any hissing. The only hissing we've got at the moment is really the air conditioning packs, really. But occasionally my microphone can hiss as well, so let me know if there are problems. Yeah, Russ, we're getting that now. Actually, it's taken us over 100 nautical miles to get 5,000 feet. It's really quite bad. I'm tempted to curtail the climb actually, so instead of going to flight level 370, we'll just we'll go up to. I mean, we're not even climbing now, look. Sam here, not yet. That would be good. I'm sure there's a way that you'll be able to do it though, because Navigraph of course has its own sim link, and you can download their app and view everything yourself on your mobile phone with the moving map in place as well, which is really good. God, so we've pretty much got to flight level 310 and we're not climbing anymore. That's some atrocious performance. That's the sort of stuff that makes it quite frustrating for those of us who use things like VATSIM, because we're trying to get ourselves up, but it's not even wanting to do that. That's bizarre. I wonder what happens if I take over, go to open climb. N1's gone back up towards 80, 79.3. So now if I put this on +8, let's see what happens. Engines have spooled down. That's bad behaviour right there. John, nice. Bizarre that I'm struggling so much. I'm guessing you guys are on the latest development version. So basically it's blocking me going above 80% M1. I'm just making sure I've got screenshots in and putting them onto the flybywire QA chat, because it will help diagnose any of the issues. I mean, look how much we're losing speed there. In fact, that's pretty pronounced. I'm just going to have to level off here, I think. Or I'll just... Ralph, nice. At least you guys have managed to get up to your cruise altitude. What's your gross weight as well? Mine's 64.2 tonnes at the moment, so let me know if what your weights are. It might be something like that. But yeah, as John said, I'm basically flying a lead balloon. Bizarre. Centre of gravity's fine. Nope, we're in the... oh, actually. Yes, it has. Russ, legendary. Good shout. Let's see what happens. I didn't hear it click out. But again, this is my joystick being bizarre. Okay, there we go. 700, 800. Back up to 90% M1. Ah, there we go. After me, well, after all of that, it was me after all. 33. There we go. Well, that looks better, doesn't it? Ian, yeah. Normally, you'd hear it click out. I would have thought we'd have heard it click out. Oh well. Pretty sure we should be able to climb at least a couple of 100 foot per minute on 80% N1 though. Bearing in mind we've now got to 90% N1. And we're doing 2,000 foot per minute. So there's not much of a, I mean there's 10% difference, but if there's 10% difference, realistically we should maybe get about 1,000 foot per minute there. If it's able to do 2,000 at 90%, we should be able to do 1,000 at 80% M1. So that doesn't really make sense. Ian, yeah, I've already done it. I've already updated my little QA thing on the QA chat. There we go. Should be getting Alt Star in a second. There we go, Alt Star. That's bizarre. So I don't know if you guys noticed that when we got Alt Star and it dropped into Mac as well on the PFD, the engine's bizarrely spooled down to about 60-something% as well, which shouldn't happen. So our speed dropped off by about 10 knots. Russ, as always, thank you. Max, welcome. Hello, hope you're well. Thanks. I'm surprised I've had no messages via the MCDU with that either. Oh dear. Right, let's get some weather, shall we, for Lima. There's the top of descent marker, which is incorrect. Or is it? Company message. (320) at 11 knots. So here's the METAR, 320 at 11, so we can pretty much say there that we're going to be using runway 33. And what's the final waypoint? It's telling us the Atatu 2-star into Lima. Via Atatu, we have to be below flight level 250, Kalar below 10,000, Vumum below 4,000, Lobus 2,100. It's pretty much a straight in approach down the coast actually, that looks quite cool. But it does say runway 15, so it is a circle to land, if that's the case. But I'm just going to have a little look at the other approach charts. Yeah, wow, it's a circle to land into a runway 33 live then. An unexpected one. So let me show you guys Navigraph so you can see what I'm looking at. There's a tattoo there with a hold as well at flight level 250. Kalar and Vumum, Lobus, and then runway 15. Now the only thing we can do here is a VOR arrival into runway 33, but we're coming in from the north and there's no other charts. That's what we can expect. 3-degree pappies, left side of the runway, several obstacles near the runway threshold, and this is the departure preference runway. Let's have a little look at some of these, shall we? Good grief. So we're going to have a look at some of these for the purpose of using it to build our circle to land. So I'll probably use the ILS, Lobus, come into the ILS, and then maybe Simmer we're going to have to break off and do a circle to land procedure. And it'll probably be over the coast, I would imagine. But there's no charts for it. Circle to land not authorised east of the airport. Well, I'm not even sure if we should be doing a circle to land for that, but why not, eh? Max, I've seen a couple of reports where they've said where some people have said similar things, reporting after about an hour or so some frame rates being affected again. But I've not actually flown for a while since, so I'm not sure. We'll find out today. We'll get about 2 hours and a bit for the flight today, so we'll find out if we start to get any issues with frames. Philip, great question. So I was engrossed in the charts then. So you're suggesting arrive at Lobus, 4,000, then track over to the start of the VOR at Scenic. I was looking at that, but oh, you could do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break off on the ILS at 1,750 feet. So this is what I'm going to do. Part of this is, I guess, making it up. Oh man, I forgot to use Volanta. Let me quickly fire Volanta up. This is going to be, I'm going to do a dynamic circle to land basically, so you guys will be able to see, without any charts, whether I can do it or not. In the spirit of making stuff up as I go along. Add a flight plan. There we go. Good grief, we've got loads of this flying, it's great. Cool, Volanta's back up. Anyway, back to Navigraph. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up for the ILS here, and then at Lobus, we have to be at 4,000 I believe. And then 2,100 actually, 10.2, where's that? That's here. So probably around 3,000 foot at Lobus, but descending onto the glide slope, and then we're going to get to Simmer at 5 miles, and at some point here we're going to level off, so around about 1,700 actually at 5.2. I'm going to go track FPA mode, so basically at Simmer, and I'm then going to head 180 degrees, so that'll be due south. It's going to take us down to like a bit of a downwind leg, and I'm going to get to here, sort of aiming for this blip here. Hopefully we can see it, this little outcrop of land. By that point I'm going to head 155 degrees, which is the runway heading for runway 15 from the ILS charts, so we know that way with track FPA we're not going to be drifting too far away from the runway. And then I'm going to use Sippen 4.5 DME for the VOR approach as my turning reference. So again at 1,750 I'm going to aim to be level with Sippen, and then going to commence a turn, or just before that commence a descending turn in. Basically I'm going to make it up, and we'll see how we'll see how we go. MDA is at 740 for a straight in landing, but we're doing a circle to land, so that's going to be 890. Yeah, 890 feet for MDA. Let's scribble that down. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge because I'm pretty much making up a rival. Ralph's asking for an inverted tower flyby. Nice. Yeah, John, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing as well. Awesome. So with that in mind, how far have we got? 432, loads of time. Good, good. There's the Atatu. So we can go ahead and go rival. We need to go for ILS Zulu, runway 15. So this is similar to the Dubrovnik circle to land tutorial that I that went live on the channel a few days ago. For those of you who saw it, we're configuring for the ILS for runway 15, and we're selecting the arrival for that via Lobus. And then we're going to track things like the ILS to get the DME, and we're going to switch to VOR. So what have we got? Jorge Chavez, VOR 116 decimal 9er. Whoops. Oh, man. Wrong button. We're going to want a final approach course of 335. That's going to help us line up as well if the weather's bad. if the aircraft was in a slightly more advanced state, what we would be able to do is go into a fix info. Let's see if we can do it now actually. No. So let's try and go into this. No. Okay, so that's not going to work. I bet I could do it in this one though. So really what I'd want to be able to do is enter fixed info. If the aircraft was more, say for example the runway was at Robig, what we would be able to do is add in a 5 nautical mile circle around the runway, so we could pretty much fly up to the 5 nautical mile edge and then fly along the edge of that circle, and we get to 5 miles as the circle closes back in, we kind of know then we need to be turning. So that is a feature in the Airbus, but it's not yet able to be put in here, which is a shame. Oh well. Anyway, SJPC, ILS 1169er and course of 335. We need the ILS Zulu frequency of 109.7. Course for that's 155, but it's grey, can't use it. What else have we got? A Salinas VOR if we have to go around, but we'll be fine. We should probably put it in actually. 114.7, because I am making this up as we go. Missed approach is going to be climb outbound on the JCL VOR. Radial of 155 at 4.8, turn right, intercept the inbound. Radial of 157. Back to the Salinas VOR. But we'll be fine. Let's have a little catch up on the live chat, shall we? Yeah, I've not changed any settings just yet myself. Should be okay. Yeah, I've not noticed any issues so far, and I'm getting 45 frames per second average. Eagle, wow. 38-year-old parrot, that's incredible. Sorry to hear that. What else are we going to be targeting? We'll go for 3,000, shall we? So let's play around with this top of descent calculator that's going in. So we need to be at or below 20,000 for the first waypoint. So start descent 53 nautical miles before target. That's pretty helpful. But that's not going to be for another 300 miles or so at Atatu. Although that doesn't have a constraint in the aircraft, so let me add that in. We have to be below 250. In that goes. Whether it updates or not, I guess is another question entirely. Let's just cycle constraints. No, that's a shame. It used to go in there as well. And then Kalar below 10,000, which is in there. $85 nautical miles for that descent. I'm just taking some screenshots, so I'm putting it on. I need to put it on my report, of course, at the end of this for the testing of it. Max, no, we can't. There would ordinarily be an option here, so we'd be able to hit hold, and then it'd put in a hold at Bobug, for example. There. So we can configure and add in right turn, 1 minute leg, 2 nautical mile distance, inbound course of 178, which is correct there, and then right turn back on ourselves. We should be able to, we can insert it, so I could add in a hold at Bobug now, for example, but I don't think it would fly it just yet. We need the flight plan manager to come in for that. Although I can give it a go if you guys want to see that. Whether it works or not, I don't know. You can stipulate left turn or right turn hold, so it reverts computed. You can extend the time as well, so you could say in here that you want a 5 nautical mile radius, or a 2 minute hold, or 1.5 for a 1 minute 30 hold. But we can give it a go if you guys want to see that. We can always try, I guess. Or at least put it in and see what happens. Not necessarily fly, because I've got I've got 4 guys behind me and 1 ahead, so we're kind of in a bit of a pickle for distance. But there we go. Let's hit insert. So you can see there, Bobug, hold at Bobug. It's mentioned it there, hold right, speed at 230 knots, an immediate exit, but it's not drawn anything in. So it can be added in, I just don't think it flies it yet. We need the flight plan manager. Once that comes in, we should then get a visible hold circuit go in there as well. And then of course at any point, you should be able to hit immediate exit. Otherwise the aeroplane will just stay in the hold. You can hit immediate exit and it will then go straight out to the next waypoint. Back on track. So it should go, if for example we were here where the cursor is, we should be able to then, on immediate exit, should take us back to Bobug or straight back onto our flight path line in the most efficient way. Quite cool. But it doesn't quite work properly yet. We can add it in, of course. We hit immediate exit and it wipes it, so it will take us straight back to our flight plan. But we're still waiting on the flight plan manager for the actual working features of it to come into play a little bit better. Look at those mountains. Zoomed out a bit too much there, went all fisheye lens on you. It says airtime of 1 hour 52. And we're at 1 hour now, so we're doing pretty good. Stunning scenery. Great part of the world. The FlyUK tours are really good because you've got all of your usual routes, of course, around Europe and Australia, New Zealand, things like with the code shares routes, but also we can do all of these tours. So a couple of the guys flying today, of course, have done John, yeah. If I bug down my MCDU now and I'm doing somersaults, yeah, you'll know why. Ralph's going to try and do a manual hold at Scenic. Awesome. Ralph, you're ahead, I think, aren't you? I think were you the one that departed first? Just Honey Delta. So we know we're going to need 3 degrees, 85 nautical miles to descend to Qatar, or just before Qatar. But what's going to be interesting is seeing whether or not, as we start to descend, our speed's going to change, of course, and our ground speed will also change with it. And what's going to be interesting for us is how this changes dynamically as well. So we're going to give that a go. We could also put in a manual input here. This is really cool. So you could say at 10,000 feet your ground speed is going to be 466. You could put in here, for example, right, let's see. Minimum altitude of 0. So we could put in here 350 knots instead, for example. What has that just changed? Where's my flight controls? Wow, 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 wow. Rudder. Ooh, good grief. Well, there's a bug with it. Right there. Holy. Let's remove while I'm flying this manually. We'll go back to manual input. Is that all leveled off again? Yes. Wow. Well, that's good, because that's shouting at us, telling us we've blown our altitude. There's a C chord coming in as well now, so by that point we'd have had a continuous alert as well, which is quite cool. So basically, leave this in automated mode. Oh man. That was me trying to show you the other feature of this. Yeah, that got close to a spin, I think. What's going on with this now? So whatever happened now, as I entered those digits, it triggered a rudder deflection. And now we've got ever so slight bank. You know what I'm going to do? There's a button here that's really handy if you guys ever get tripped by it. Reset rudder trim. Just in case the aircraft's put some in. You should technically press that before departure as well. But it's that button there. Because there is a slight deflection on the rudder. And now we've got an ever so slight left bank. Fantastic. What are we at? It's got to be some other trim somewhere, because the ailerons are stuck in an offset position as well. Left elevator, pitch. BG. Let's have a little look. See the rudder trim showing 0.0. There is technically no aileron trim in this, so that's interesting. Let's go to this. Let's just see if we can wake it up a little. And back to managed. Will it resolve? No. Possibly. See, you know what, this has been, it's quite frustrating because this has actually been tested 3 times by other QAs, and they can't have done any form of flight with it, surely, because if they'd have tried that, like they were supposed to have done, they would have had the same results, which is a little bizarre. John, what's new in this test build, Max? Good question. So basically, this feature being added to the EFB, so we'll be able to put in our altitude, target altitude, leave that on automatic sync, and it will say a rough idea of when to start our descent, basically. So a little top of descent calculator inside the performance tab of the EFB, which is really cool. But changing a few of the bits has caused us this problem. I'm hoping, it looks like it's starting to sort itself out now, so a couple of minutes, I think putting that back into manual heading select and then back out might have fixed it. I'm going to try a different input, forgive me, because I am technically testing this. And I'm going to try, it was 300 and something, wasn't it, before? Was it 350? Okay. Wobbling on enter. But, okay, so that's better. That was without using the numpad. Let's see. Brace yourself, John. Yeah, for some evasive action. 420. I don't think they're actually calculating anything. Okay, so it's definitely linked to keybinds. But now we're getting a right bank by about a degree. Yeah, Ralph. So 5 resets my rudder trim, but I've actually, because of the keybinds and the EFB, I've wiped all of my numpad keybinds off. So I've got rid of them all basically. So it's a little confusing that that's happened. 289 miles to go. And now we've got a continuous left bank. Very bizarre, isn't it? Let's go back into manual heading select. And now back into managed. Oh, that's a great question, Ian. I've not checked. I just assumed they'd be saved. Everything else is the same, so I just assumed it was all the same. Let's update the METARs. 32011 at 1300. That's an hour and a half ago, so that should have changed now. When we get on the ground, I'll pause it and have a little look on my keybinds just to see, while I'm on the stream, just to see if they've put themselves back in again, or if I'd left one or two in inadvertently. 1400 Zulu, there we go, that's a bit better. Ollie, welcome. Thank you very much, that's great to hear. I'm glad you find it all useful. Matthew T, hello, welcome, and thanks for subscribing, Ollie, as well. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. So welcome on board to you, and anyone else watching that's newly subscribed as well, of course. 320 at 12, now the METAR on the dashboard should have updated as well. 320 at 12, look at that. So that's good, they're keeping up to date. And I'm missing all the scenery breaking the plane. Look at that. You can see the coast up ahead as well. So we're pretty much targeting the coast and then heading south straight into Lima. We're going to have to put in our approach data soon. Max, not just yet, no. What we're doing for METAR data, let's have a little look. Radnav, no perf page, whoopsie. QNH 1015. Temperature 19 degrees Celsius, that's lovely and warm. Mag wind 320 at 12. So this is going to be interesting because technically the circle to land procedure can't be done because we're showing overcast at 400 feet. But I might just give it a go anyway if you guys want me to try and do it in full cloud. Not that you would normally, but I'm happy to give it a go just to see. That's going to really test my needle tracking ability for the VOR as well. Monty, awesome, thank you. Very kind of you to say that. Ollie, no problem at all. Tuning in tomorrow if you can. We're going to be doing Liverpool to Zakynthos. We're going to check out the new Asobo Liverpool Airport as well. Have a little look at the yellow submarine. And maybe see what else we can break on the A320 with another test branch. Matthew, I think you're right. Well, Mr. Chippy. Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Echo Foxtrot. Hotel. Well, you've got India, which is a country. I think that is. Lima and India, I think, are the only ones that are named after places. What's the MDA? 890, and the transition altitude on the charts is 10,000. So the minimums are 490 foot higher than the cloud base at overcast at 400. So technically we should be flying. Actually, we can't even. It'd be the VOR approach, but the MDA is 890. So technically, even that's not allowed. Interesting. But we've got the VOR frequency in anyway, and we've got the ILS that's going to help us, and our diversion to SPSO if it all goes horribly wrong. What's our descent speed? 288 knots. That's all ready to go. And 123 miles till Atatu. Oh, Quebec. Great shout. God, I hate when you zoom in too much. It kind of ruins the look a little bit. Come fly with me. Hello, welcome. Jurassic. Good afternoon. Ed, good afternoon to you as well. You joined us just as we've got the aeroplane stable again. So we've had a weird few minutes battling that. 1015 wasn't it? I think the QNH was here. So let's get the standby instrument down. 2997 for the altimeter in American money. And we'll go back to the performance page. 85 nautical miles predicted. Acrobat, hello, welcome. And interestingly, now that we've done the EFB calculation, we've got a top of descent marker there. What is that relating to? So Kakar in 160, top of descent would be 1800 foot per minute, usually. So I still think that's a little early, but it's great to see that starting to make an appearance as well. Ah, Mr. Chippy, thanks. Yeah, I've ended up making quite a few, but there's the cool coffee cup, and there's one on the FO side as well. I obviously do have a Sailcow branding as well that I put here, but for some reason, that's when I was putting it in earlier, following the new way to configure that part of the aeroplane decals, it pretty much broke everything, and that was following the README instructions, so that was a little frustrating. Jurassic Lark can't get the EFB to accept your SimBrief username. Have you tried typing in your pilot ID and just seeing if that would come up, or a bit of turbulence? Normally, a rule that pilots have is if they can feel it at the front, then it's bad at the back, so the seatbelt signs would go on. And nice to see that the ice is starting to melt. FlyUK.aero if you're looking for a virtual airline. That's what a few of us are flying with today, part of their tour. Really good, inclusive virtual airlines for the simulators, and a stunning livery as well, which you can see in this view. Great paint scheme. Navigraph won't either. Oh, if you have a space, yeah, you can't have a space in your username, but you can change your SimBrief username on the website. So you go onto the SimBrief website, go into your account settings, and you can change your username to whatever else you want it to be. So if you want to add a dash in there, you can add a dash, or you can get rid of the space. So that would then fix your EFB and everything else as well, actually. So give that a go. If, for example, Jurassic Lark, it's Jurassic Space Lark, then get rid of the space. So it's just all one word. You can change that quite easily on the account settings inside SimBrief. So, really. So give that a go. Hopefully that will solve your EFB issues. Jurassic, no. Usually there's a way. There comes all the turbulence. The scenery there is just absolutely brilliant. There's Calar on 120, so 85 miles it's telling us we're going to need. So kind of around here, around about 100 miles to go, I'll start a descent. That should be based on a calculation of 1800 foot per minute, he says. We'll find out in the interests of testing thoroughly. Rusman, hello, welcome. Great scenery. It's things like that that the sim really stands out for. I know there's issues with the aeroplanes that I mention all the time, but in the main, I think this is fantastic. Matthew T, nice. Let's have a little look at this view then, shall we? There's the money shot. Monty, no, this is a test branch, so we're checking out the top of descent calculator that's going to be built into the EFB. So that's been coded, it's available for testing at the moment, and I'm basically running one of the tests on it to make sure it works properly. Eddie, awesome. Yeah, so basically you'll be able to make use of the A32NX SimBrief integration for the MCDU, and also the integration into the EFB as well, so that's quite cool. SimBrief's great. Do note though that if you're using something like VATSIM or IVAO, unless you've got Navigraph and you can update the AirRack in SimBrief, I think it's AirRack 1903 that it uses, which is from March 2019. So it's very out of date. So you'll get issues where you'll create a route on SimBrief using AirRack 1903, and some of the waypoints or airways have changed since. So when you import it into the aircraft, you'll then get a waypoint mismatch. But the only workaround with that at the moment is if you were to effectively push in Ian, awesome. If you were effectively to subscribe maybe to Navigraph for 1 month, £9 or €9 I think it is for 1 month. Update your sim brief to a recent AirAC, i.e. this month's, and then cancel your subscription. So then you have an up-to-date sim brief, and you could maybe do that once a year, or as I do, subscribe to it and pay annually, and embrace. You know what? I think this top of descent calculator might actually be bang on. CalR at minus 10,000. Let's just go have a quick look at these maps. CalR have to be above 10,000, at or above 10,000 at CalR. Max 250 knots. And that top of descent calculator, maybe 20 miles early, but that's pretty close. How close is that? 20? 10 miles. So you know what? I'm going to go into this. I'm going to prep 10,000. When we hit that top of descent marker, I'm going to trigger that and go to an 1800 foot per minute descent just to see if that works. Although I think that's going to be a little too early. "85 nautical miles," that's telling us. So if I remember 85, and at 4,104, but that's not going to be correct because we'll be dropping down to 250. K-Berg, hello. We've got the aeroplane stable again, but it was a bit of a battle earlier, and it took about 5-10 minutes to stabilise itself. But it was an interesting few minutes. I think we're hitting that top of descent marker now. Yeah, pretty much. There we go, we're touching it now. I think that might be what that's going to be referencing. So let's see if that's linked to maybe my constraint that I've input. How far have we got till Atatu? 40. And what do we want? 250. $38 miles. You know what? That top of descent marker was bang on then, if that's the case. 1800 foot per minute down to flight level 250, which is a manually input constraint that I've put in. K-Berg, yeah, the other options are what broke it, basically. So I've left it on automated. So I've input this constraint here at flight level 250, and that top of descent marker looks like that's bang on, linked to 38 miles there. Ian, I go through swings and roundabouts really with the Navigraph map data for the sim. Sometimes I put it in, sometimes I take it out again. So I guess have a little go and see what you think. Yeah, so K-Berg, the issue came with going into... K-Berg's another QA, by the way, guys. So I went into manual input, and as I started to change some of these figures with the numpad, it threw it all out, and I pretty much had to fly it manually for a few minutes. So I'm leaving it on automatic sync. Carl, hello, welcome. And Monty, sure, which bit in particular are you referring to for the programming side of it? That's interesting. 1800 foot per minute vertical speed. What's it giving me? 1900. Ah, there we go. No, back to 1900, 1800. Don't let me down now. What I like to do as well, change your QNH to the local pressure during a descent. Aaron, hello. Welcome. I think that top of descent marker was absolutely bang on. Monty, sure, I can show you now. So, a tattoo was blank initially. I can't enter the rest because they're within a SID, a star, sorry. Well, actually, I could enter this one. So if I wanted to amend this, I could just put in, let's have a little look actually. We'll do this one, we're heading up towards it. So this was initially blank. I can't remove it now. But you could change it. You basically type in, I want it to be targeting flight level 250. So I typed in here, 25,000, and then I pressed that button there, and it goes straight in. And that was it. All of the other constraints are input automatically with the star itself. So a tattoo is the start of the star, and the rest of it's all input. Transition at 10,000. Don't forget as well, we're going to be doing this rather dynamic ad hoc. Circle to land procedure. Mr. Smudgy, hello, welcome. And yes, far away, whatever questions you've got, always happy to answer. What does Q and H stand for? Oh, you mean QNH? Yeah, Monty, with the minus is telling the aircraft that you want to be at or below. Or at or above, sorry. So minus being the bottom end. You could be plus as well, you could do plus to 25,000. A tattoo hasn't quite worked out for us. 10 miles. Oh, 25,000 maybe. Oops. Let's continue down to 10. It was at or above, so that's looking pretty bang on actually for that top of descent marker. Mr. Smudgy, if you go to, I'll put the link in the live chat for you. If you go to the Flybywire website, you'll be able to download their installer, and then you would simply, if you needed to guide it to where the community folder is, where you have that installed, you might have to set that up, but then you'd simply just press development version and it will download that and install it for you automatically, which is cool. And Ed, if you're asking Q and H, if you mean QNH, then that is to do with the pressure here. So your altimeter works on air pressure, and you've got two different types of pressure, and there's your backup instrument there, which don't forget to change. You've got two types of air pressure that you would make a reading for, and that would be either QNH or QFE. And QFE is pretty much the air pressure at airfield level. This is the best way to sort of think of this, or at the threshold of the runway, if you like. QNH is your altitude linked to mean sea level. So it would be the pressure based upon the mean sea level is the QNH. So if you're doing VFR circuits in a little Cessna, you might be told a QFE instead, because you're flying based on an airport, a small airfield. You might be given a QFE instead of a QNH, and that tends to be roughly 10 hectopascals more, I think it is. I'm trying to remember now for QFE. Mr. Smudgy, yes, the development version. And Matthew T, yeah, I had read it, but I was just getting around to it. I've actually watched some of the videos, and I've tried to use Blender using those tutorials, but that's just a little bit beyond me, to be honest. I would love to be able to, that'd be fantastic. Let's change this. 25,000, and that's telling us now to go for 44 nautical miles. I'm trying to fly but also watch all of this because that's what we're testing. Monty, yes you can actually. Yeah, you can enter constraints on the way up as well. So you could do plus, for example. On the way up you do like plus 12,000, so it'd be at or above. You're climbing out. Matthew Tino, I couldn't even make the donut. The thing is, learning something like Blender takes such a long time and I don't really have the time for it at the moment. Are you guys seeing these little micro stutters that I'm getting? Or like the weird black screen flashes, or is it just on my screen? Monty, it's been in for a while actually. In the latest dev and experimental versions, so be sure to download those. They're both in there. Let's see if we can track this VOR. There we go. JCL 108. Good stuff. Probably have to go 1900 foot per minute. We've got 60 to Klar. 38 nautical miles is telling us. Ed, no problem at all. So just remember, you're pretty much always, if you're flying an airliner or a business jet, you're pretty much always going to be given a QNH, which is your altitude in relation to mean sea level. And all that means is you're changing the pressure on your altimeter. So here we're at standard pressure. Standard is 1013 hectopascals. But if we go to local QNH, you can see how the altimeter changes. So if we had a really high pressure day, 1021 for example, the difference between standard barometric pressure of 1013, which is an international baseline, to our local QNH, which is a altitude above mean sea level for the local area you're at.
Lima traffic, then through.
Then that's what that is.
43. Is that ATATU descending out of flight level 370 near traffic to arrival?
Yeah, Monty, give it a go. See what you think. Hopefully it works out well for you. 10,000 to go. 31 nautical miles. 349 knots. That's pretty much bang on. Yeah, that is bang on. 1960. Yeah, pretty good. 30 miles it's telling us, and we're at 40 to Klar. So that's been pretty much bang on as well. There's our decel at Vumum. We have to be at or above 4,000. So let's amend that. Oops. 47 nautical miles. John, not too late. We're about to start something a little crazy actually. Monty, yes, you can do speed constraints too. Same process. So if we wanted a speed constraint at Vermont, it's already got one in at 230 for example, but we could, for example, amend that to 220. And you just type in 220 and then add it in there. I won't do it just because we're in the we're inside the star at the moment. I don't want to risk breaking anything. Mr. Smudgy, yes, Bergen is really good. Manchester to Bergen or Gatwick to Bergen using the sceneries. And Bergen's got a great freeware scenery on FlightSim.to, and depending on whether you're landing facing north or facing south, it takes you in over the fjords. There's one of the guys, a couple of miles ahead. So it's a really stunning approach and departure if you headed out of Bergen as well to head back. Yuri's asking what settings do I recommend. A nice little blend between medium and high seems to be pretty good. That's kind of what I'm working on at the moment. More so high than anything else, but I've got a few things dialed down to medium, and I can't physically see any visual difference. Let's get Navigraph back up, and I'll show you guys what craziness we're about to do. So we're configured for the ATATU 2 arrival RNAV into runway 15, and you can see there we're flying along now, aiming to reach Klar at or above 10,000. Then we're going to continue our descent down to 4,000 at Vumum, at or above 4,000. and then Lobus. I'm going to aim for about 3,000 there, I think. We've configured for an ILS Zulu into runway 15 with a course of 155 degrees, and you can see there Lobus at the top, which is the initial approach fix. We've entered the ILS frequency into the RadNav page, which is there, 109.7. It's also at the top of the charts here. And we're going to start to fly the ILS, but the winds are coming in from the north, so in this configuration we're going to be heading in with a tailwind, which we don't want. And the latest METAR is pretty much telling us winds are 320 degrees at 12 knots. So it's not like the winds are calm enough for us to just come in and land on runway 15 anyway as a preferred runway option. We're having to use runway 33. So we're going to go to Simmer, 5.2 miles away from the airport. And what I'm going to then do, I'm going to break off for a manual circle to land procedure. So I'm going to break off and I'm going to head around maybe track of 185, I think, or 180. And I'm going to aim for this little jut of land here. And at this point I'm going to be descending down to 1,700 feet. But I'm actually then going to drop down to 890, I think, during the approach leg itself here. I'm going to fly 180, level at 1,700. And then for the downwind leg here, I'm going to drop down to our minimums, I think, of 890. Fly a downwind leg. I'm going to track the VOR needle at this point, so I'm going to switch across to this chart, flying downwind, and I'm going to be tracking that VOR at Jorge Chavez. And I'm going to be looking at our distance as well, because I want to make sure that when we get to about 4.5 miles, I'm going to want to start a turn on left base. So a left turn round about where Sippen is, and then I'm going to have to manually track the VOR itself. So I'm going to do a little circle to land procedure. I don't think we're going to get as far as Sippen, because I'm going to go down to our minimums at 890 foot, and I'm going to make our way round. So we'll see how we go. Let's have a little look at the airport, because we're going to try and get off the runway when we can.
Lima traffic,
33.
Juliet X-ray is at 10,000 feet.
Bravo's quite a tight turn, so we're going to maybe aim for Bravo.
We'll be doing a ILS 15.
But if not, we're going to break off. We're going to keep going all the way down to Alpha. But we've got a load of guys behind us as well flying with us, so we're going to have to bear that in mind as we make our approach. Try and get off the runway when we can. Let's have a little look. ILS Zulu. Actually, I want this chart up for now. What could possibly go wrong, eh? Car Casey, no, we're not using PAC-X. I use, if I'm going to use anything, usually I use 67 miles to go. I'll use the FlyUK.aero tool, which is free on flightsim.to. Pretty much at 10,000 now, so let's get those on. Cool, that's all good. So we're going to pass Colour. Level of detail, I think that's set to... Is that if that's a medium high, I think I've got it set to high, but if it's a sliding scale, I think I've just left it at 100 from memory. Wesley, good afternoon. Carl, Navigraph, you can pay per month or you can pay annually, and I've paid annually because it works out around about £10–15 cheaper, I think, over the year, which is bizarre. So if you can, I always recommend paying annually. You tend to save quite a bit of money. Yuri, I've got VSync switched off. So VSync for me is switched off. Wesley, whereabouts in Asia? I've done a few flights around that part of the world. That's cool. Motorway all the way down. I was wondering what that was. It was so straight I started to think it was a runway. I can sort of see where the airport's going to be. The airport's going to be over here, dead ahead of us, and you can sort of see that bit of land that juts out. So I'm pretty sure the runway's going to be where my cursor is here. What's next? John, next flight's tomorrow. We're going to be heading from the new Sobo handmade Liverpool. 1390. That's interesting. We're at 10,000, but I've had to refresh the sync. Oh man, let me quickly make a note of this as well. All this going on, I'm trying to do the QA test as well. So that got stuck at 13,000. 19 nautical miles, so we're going to have to go down to 4,000 now. Down we go, please. And we'll trigger 1,800 foot per minute based on the top of descent calculations. Borgo Travis traffic, Skyways 4944. Inbound passing Kalar for ILS runway 15, circle to land runway 33. Great scenery at this part of the world. Yeah, so John, tomorrow at 1300 Zulu we're going to be heading to Zakynthos from Sobo's new Liverpool from the UK World Update. So we're going to go and check that out, and we'll be on VATSIM as well on that. Wesley, yeah, of course, we're on Monday. It's always a good one. You'll have to excuse the bot there for going a little crazy, putting everything in all at once. James in Scotland, hello to you. Just joining us as we're making our approach into Lima, and we're going to be doing a bit of a dynamic circle to land. There's nothing on the charts for it.
9 Juliet X-ray, descending, move it 9,200 to move 4,000 for
Get a bit of auto brake out, shall we? Keep that speed down below 250. Jurassic, awesome. It's going to be about 4 or 5 minutes once we level off for me to manually fly this circuit. Lobus down to 3,000. Vumum at or above 4,000. Jamie, yeah, fantastic scenery, absolutely stunning. So as a reminder, Lobus, join the ILS. Down to simmer 5.2 DME. Then we're going to go to manual mode. So I'm going to fly this as best as I physically can. Let's put LS mode on. Mr. Smudgy, no I don't. Their installer is very easy to use though. Look at all that down there, that's absolutely stunning, guys. Look at that. Let's grab a little screenshot for FlyUK, send that to them. See how close we can get. Sebastian, hello, welcome. James, no, sadly not. Wish I was, just didn't have the £100,000 to do it. So breach infirmum, alt star, which you can just about see. And what I'm going to do now, we're about to hit decel. Oh, good. The aircraft's put itself into approach mode already. Good stuff. We've got 34 miles to go. And Mr. Smudgy, yeah, you do have to put it in the community folder. So gosh, you need to update to the very latest development version for the fly-by-wire mod. Annoyingly, Asobo have gone ahead and put in a whole load of additional flap lifts. They've separated flap stuff. They've done a load of work for that, but in the process of doing it, they've actually broke the way the flaps work, and they've made them too powerful. Look at all that. That's absolutely stunning. This is Peru. And thanks to FlyUK, we're flying around this part of the area, part of the world in the sim because of the Scenic South America tour. So they've got things like this all around the world. They've got tours of Alaska, America, across the Atlantic as well. So you're flying like an A320 on short hops. So for example, you go Edinburgh to Reykjavik, Reykjavik to Nuuk in Greenland, across to Goose Bay in Canada, and so on. Oh, Mr. Smudgy, I'm not sure actually. I haven't got Steam, so I'm not sure how that works in relation to the community folder. Hopefully there might be somebody in the live chat that might be able to help. I've got the Microsoft Store version. There's Lobus coming up. We're picking up the ILS now, 25 miles. We're picking up the VOR as well. You can see that if I go onto the VOR tab, the white arrow. We're going to be tracking that once we break off. Jurassic, nice. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for subscribing and joining as a member. Welcome on board. And you can see as well, because we've set in the RadNav page, by the way folks, always make sure your ILS frequencies are in. You have to add that in yourself. A lot of the time it doesn't autofill. But I've added our VOR in a JCL and a back course of 335 because we're going to be heading back on ourselves flying north. So that's going to be factored in. Let's continue down to 3000. Oh, good grief, who's that above? Let's get flaps 1. Good grief, are we that heavy? We're still at 62 tons. I thought our V speeds looked high. 132 approach. That's bizarre. Flaps 1. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to manual speed mode. The aircraft should hold at S. So gosh, thank you very much.
Lima traffic, country for 9 Juliet, X-ray is fully established, ILS 15.
You are my hero. I was furious with my inability to land.
Very nice. Welcome. Not too late, we're just in time to join our approach. We're going to break off, so there's the runway up ahead. There's one of the guys as well. We're going to break off and fly a bit of a downwind and a circle to land. Manually, there's no charts for it. We'll make use of track FPA as well and take in the scenery for the last few minutes. There's one of the guys.
Lima way traffic. Land Peru 2943 is 4,000 feet at Lobus. Tracking to fill-in for the Vordemi 33 approach.
So I think he's going all the way from the initial approach fix from memory. Let me know in the chat if that is correct. So I think he's heading all the way down to the final approach fix. So gosh dear. And interestingly, we're not holding the S. manually get back up there, shall we? Naughty aeroplane. It's giving it a bit of space anyway. So let's go track FPA, flight director off. What we're going to do is I'm going to click lock mode, so it tracks the localizer, and I'm then going to manually descend using track FPA along with the localizer. We're on a 3-degree glide slope, and I want to get to 1,700 foot. Weather's not forecast at all. No, you're correct there.
Lima traffic, Hunter for 9 Juliet X-ray, just want to wish everyone good luck with their BO1 landing. Runway 33.
Let's put it on real weather, shall we? Oh, good grief. What have I done? And I've broke that. Okay, so focus, focus. Let's quickly get the meta. Where are we landing? SPJC. Yeah, 320 at 12 knots, intercepting the glide path. Okay, I've just made this infinitely more difficult for myself. Go. Three degrees, 1,700. Flaps 2. Whoa. That was a bad bug. Well, just taken over throttle control there. Because for some reason it took us, it tried to go straight back to 250 knots. Lock mode, naughty me. Come on, behave yourself. Let's leave the speed brake on, shall we? Is she back in the climb gate? Yes. It's behaving herself now. It's thinking about bugging out again though, I think. And we want 900. Simmer. Past that. Track 180. Lima traffic, Skyways 4944, breaking off simmer for the circle to land runway 33. Will report when downwind. There we want. Spoilers armed. Cabin secure. Auto brake low. There's the runway. And I'm keeping our descent down to 900 because that's pretty much our minimums. And this is where nav mode is really handy for us. But you know what, we're visual, so we can continue.
Lima traffic, Skyways 2320, is breaking off the simmer for the circle to land, landing 33.
1,000.
There's one of the guys behind, we're about a minute and a half. Just trying to judge when to go into this downwind section. I might go now actually. So we wanted 155 track, turn. Get out. Now we're flying runway heading. Full flaps. Car, let's hope.
Lima, Honey River 9.
There's
Juliet
nothing on the
X-ray
charts.
Vacated on Charlie, taxiing to Alpha 1.
Nice. Camo mode, no blue, landing gear down, locked, 900. So, tracking the VOR now because that's going to be more important than anything else. We're alongside that now. We're going to line up with the blue line eventually when we start to make our turn back in again. That's going to be our task. You can see we're just leaving the end of the runway, which is here. Displaced threshold. We'll get to about 4 miles and then we're going to be turning. Great scenery. To be fair, let's just turn now. I think we're good. Lima traffic, Skyways 4944. Late downwind call. We're now turning. Left base, so to land runway 33.
Minimum.
Continue.
Lima traffic, Skyways 2320 is down left hand for runway 33. I'm behind you.
There's the airport. To be fair, we've probably initiated that turn a bit sharp. But I also know that at 4 miles we want to be at 1,700 foot per minute, 1,700 foot. So we're pretty good with flying level at the moment. Just for a few more minutes, and we can see the runway there. Let's start to increase that rate of turn. Go for 20 degrees. Here we go. Bringing that nose down now to start our descent in. Got one white on the Pappy. Here we go. Little low. Let's just make a bit of correction there, gentle correction. All groovy. 300. We've got 4 red. There we go. We've got 1 white back. Just fixing that. And back to a 3-degree glide slope. I'm playing around with this crosswind as we're coming in as well. 6 knots. Some weird satellite burns here, isn't there? 100. Lovely. Good stuff. Ooh, little wobble.
40, 30, 20, retard,
Throttle.
10, 5.
Down.
Lima traffic, Skyways 3843. Still in on the long mile on the runway.
Lima traffic, plan through 2943 is still in 4,000 in the hold for runway 33.
It's a sharp one, but we can come off. Help guys out behind.
Lima traffic, Skyways 2320, it's 5 mile final, runway 33.
Lima traffic, Skyways 4944 is vacating at Bravo. There we go. Oh, good grief, we've got that fine. Landing lights, nose lights, runway turns, APU, fire. There we go. Let's configure after landing. Try and catch some of these guys landing if I can as well. Let's zoom about. Jay, thanks. William, thank you. Barry, cheers. Jurassic, nice. Smashing out the butter. Clearing out the dairy. Carl, Ed, nice one, thank you. Nice, let's get out of his way quickly. So we're going to go Bravo onto the apron. John, thank you. Wow, he got off quick. Impressive.
In the traffic, Skyways 2320, vacating.
Yeah, Jurassic, thank you very much. Never any stress. John, yeah, in the future I probably will look to do something like that. The Exeter scenery in the sim is very bad though, so probably not anytime soon. So I'm following the maps, but it's interesting to see what happens here with... Okay. So this kicks us out. Then this kicks us in. Taxi lights off, APU is already on bleed. Braking for the gate. Here we go. Autogen taxiway is in a little odd position, but at least they're connected to the airport, I guess. I've got a Sharpie using them. That's weird. Why are they stuck? They're showing closed. I knew I closed them. Now they're closed. That's bizarre, isn't it? Engine 1, Engine 2.
Lima traffic, Lemperu 2943 is at Sillin, commencing the VATSIM approach, runway 33.
Yes.
We're at 14 miles out.
It's a nice landing there. So gosh, yeah. So I've done the 5-degree glide slope into London City in the A320. In real life, it shouldn't actually be able to do it. For those of you who watched a couple of months back, you saw how that went. So I went skidding and sliding all the way down the runway and barely made it stop at the end. So yeah, as Jurassic's saying, it's only certain aircraft approved at EGLC, and one of those is the A318 that BA used, but that required a there's two more of the guys coming in. It required a flap configuration modification, so they had to go ahead and actually change the way the flaps worked on the aeroplane, made them a larger surface basically. Same with the Embraers, they have a longer wing, I believe. So there's with the Embraers you've got a short wing, a standard Embraer 195 for example, or 175, but you also have a short wing variant, and a long wing variant, specifically for those sort of flights. So we can't, in real life, they can't actually get an A320 into London City because of the sheer glide slope. But we can give it another go at some point, I guess. Why not? It's only a simulator. The only thing with the Orbeck scenery for London City is it's not particularly user-friendly. So there's statics everywhere. Start a new flight. Let's have a little look while we're waiting. I'm just going to have a little look at my landing. So we've got minus 225 foot per minute at 1.36 G. Nice. I'll show you guys that as well in a second after we've watched the arrivals. Yeah, Flyby did. They used to slam them in, no problem at all. Oh, John, nice. Another FlyUK pilot. Touchdown. EGLC, so London City, is notoriously difficult. It's a captain-only approach, but there are others around the world that are just as bad. Some of the circle to land procedures that I've done, so Innsbruck for example, I think is a 4.79 degree glide slope, which is very steep. Eagle 1, no problem at all. Sorry again to hear the news, but thank you for watching. Where's he going? He's got a couple of miles yet, so let me show you guys my Navigraph result, Volanta results. There we go. So there's our little route. I started it there, of course, but we started in Quito up here. And there's our landing. Minus 225 foot per minute, 129 knots, wind 3086, a little crosswind, and 1.36 G. So not too bad at all. And that looked quite neat as well, actually. That was all manually flown from here.
Aerosky 560, establishing final
9
nice.
Nautical
miles.
Surprised by that.
Lima traffic then Peru 2943 is on 3 mile flight on runway 33.
Awesome. APU.
Lima traffic, Skyways 3843, vacated runway 33.
I'm not even sure the air bridge is going to work here, so I'm not even going to try. I get the feeling that I'm going to ask for it to connect and then it's just going to go to the left hand side, the wrong door or something. One more to land. Jurassic, no problem at all, thank you very much. Matthew, yep, the flight plan for tomorrow's Liverpool to Zakynthos will be on in the Discord server. The route will go into the Discord server. And of course we need to look at the next leg at some point in the future for this South America tour. It's been really good actually so far, so I think it was Ian that recommended it to us a little while ago, so thank you very much. It's a really good route. And I love that little circle to land that we just did. And the last one. So gosh, yeah, I'm glad we didn't crash into any mountains. It's a great departure out of Quito. And there's the last one in. little army of FlyUK. It's pretty good. Got to try and get a nice little screenshot if I can, perhaps with some of that mountain in the background. While he taxis in. Matthew, no problem at all. Thanks as always for tuning in. Get a little screenshot at the end.
Lima traffic, land for 2943, vacated runway 33.
It's crazy how different the weather was for unreal weather then. Hopefully he goes here. So tomorrow we'll probably be on another test branch of the A32NX. For the landing scenery for Zakynthos, yes, it'll all be on the Discord server, Matthew. So be sure to check it all out there. I'll put the link in for the Zakynthos scenery and the flight route as well. There's a little follow me car arrive. There we go. So there we are. Nice little trip to Lima from Quito. A couple of interesting events whilst we're en route as well. But continuing the South America tour from FlyUK. If you want to check them out, FlyUK.aero as a great virtual airline. Free to use, free to join, free to fly with. Loads of variety for routes, tours, etc. And some really stunning parts of the world as well to give you a bit more enjoyment out of the sim if you're not sure where else to go. Oh, there was another one coming in. There we are. Great part of the world. I'll have to have a look at what's next. Let's have a little look, see what the next leg would be. I think this was the longest leg of the tour, so if there's shorter legs in the future, for example, what I'd likely be looking to do is maybe do 2 trips in one go. It's a Class D tour, I believe. Let's have a little look. Scenic South America. So the next one, wow, this is going to be cool. Lima to La Paz, which is 1 hour 45. So that's going to be a great little route, little leg for us. We'll do that over the next few weeks as well. That'd be quite nice. I'll try and get a little screenshot with him in. Make sure we're all in the image. Where is he? He's there. Thanks to all the guys that have decided to tune in and fly with us as well. That's always great. And hopefully loads of you can join us tomorrow for Liverpool to Zakynthos. And the stream's already scheduled, so all the details are going to be on there for you guys as well. As always, thank you very much for watching. Monty, they're all on FlyUK.aero. I'll put it in the live chat. If you wanted to join. But yeah. As always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. Make sure you click like, and if you haven't done so, I'd love it if you hit subscribe as well down below. And be sure to join us tomorrow. Hope you all have a great rest of the day. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.